people are better in bed.
Some guy just tried to sell me drugs.
Where?
Right outside.
Right outside the house here?
Yeah.
What kind of drugs?
I didn't ask.
Was it a black guy? Oh, he's been all over the place.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Racism.
What kind of
why
drugs?
did you? Why do you think he's black?
I didn't ask.
Crack.
I didn't ask.
Why do you think he's black?
Because I was 2 days ago. I'm coming back from the post office, and a black guy tries to sell me crack as I'm moving at 20 miles an hour.
They seemed like nice young men.
Selling-
I was just glad that I asked them. Usually no one asks me.
Try to make a crack deal out the window of your car while you're moving at 20 miles an hour to a guy on a bicycle. Now that's thinking.
So you're saying you have to be
That's
kind of a natural athlete to do that? So that's when I decided I'm gonna walk down and see what the fuck's wrong with this guy. You know, so I knock on the door and of course he opens up. It's in like either trunks or boxer shorts. I don't even remember. You know, beer cans everywhere. Some kind of I don't know what it was. It's like a foreign film on the TV. We sat down and just started talking. You know. And it turns out we read a lot of the same books.
He immediately started accusing me of being HIV positive. I don't know why. Well, that's a nice way to ingratiate yourself with the new friend. You know, just start. You know.
I don't want anyone to think I immediately like him. I just don't.
No, that was charming. You know, that's what I always do myself. You know.
But you know, it ended up working out.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't every night wasn't smooth, but. You know, it was a.
Well, the thing is, Casey did not like my friends at all because he's sensible. He's a sensible person. If I had any sense, I wouldn't like them at all either.
Yeah, I would have to do with that.
But no, he would not be polite or tolerant of my friends that they were around.
See, I think maybe you have a kinder soul than I do. Yeah, more sensitive.
Oh my God, I felt the kick.
No, that was my dog.
In an interview in Vanity Fair magazine, Madonna criticizes New York City, saying that it doesn't feel alive, crackling with that synergy it had in the 1980s. Said New York City, right back at you.
This is good writing. This is good writing.
Good something. I don't know what it is.
I know, but I'm not gonna suck your dick, man. You crazy?
Tell her that I'm the guy on YouTube that eats his body parts. Plain English. That's okay. That's all right. I'm sure she's a lovely woman, and you know, this is probably going to work out better for her. So, bastard Sam,
little Sammy.
beautiful day, man.
Yes, it is.
But what? I mean, I have to sincerely ask, what is the difference between that idiocy and their idiocy? Is there a difference? Why? Because we're supposed to take these. We're supposed to actually respect the intellect of these people because what? Because they drink soy milk? You know? I don't get it. But, I'm sorry if I'm being obnoxious, but. You know, I don't have to spend 3 years writing a little 180-page book. You know, I can write that in 150 hours now. So, you know, that's so the cover comes first. I spend more time on the covers of the books than I actually spend writing the books. It's true. And I just want everybody to understand that. Everybody wants to know about the ear. Look, for the rest of the interview, there's only 2 things I want to talk about. Lydia Lunch and my ear. Okay, don't ask me about anything else. You know what? The only word I care about right now is canicide. What?
Walmartization.
You know what? There's one word I can pronounce, and that's dog killing. But you know, at the moment, Intra-Coastal is far more important, and I'm giving that 100%. Now with the campaign right now the way it is, I might only have a month or 2 as opposed to the 6 months I thought I needed. But I'll write as much of the book as I can before I have to go back to a regular job. You know, solid plan. If you have a good American engine, and your car is regularly serviced, and you're in good health.
4 doors.
You know, you got, your vision's 20/20. You can watch for trouble. You can watch for witnesses. You know, you have to consider all these things, and I have considered them. But I'm more interesting to myself than any serial killer ever could be, and because I know that if I had gone that route, I would have been. I definitely wouldn't have been like a Ted Bundy. I would have been like a nice, sensitive serial killer like Carl Panzram. You know, I would say like really cool and engaging shit. You know, kind of like. All I leave behind me is smoke. And, I'm a genuine psycho. I'll cut off another body part. I mean, I don't. You take me to task on that. See, they're always trying to say that I'm fucking nuts. Now they'll try to say that that it's been a big show. It's a publicity stunt. And I'm actually 100% sane, and I know what I'm doing. It's like they can't make up their fucking minds. Trying to get some paintings done that people are expecting. I got books coming in tomorrow. This is like, I knew that operating as a publisher and doing all the work on my own was going to be difficult, but and that sounds very romantic, to be in over your head, and you always have something to do, you always have, work to commit yourself to it. It's nice, and it does fill a big void. I don't have the worries that an old person would have without enough to do in their life. But at the same time, I mean, when you have too much to do, you do have that very real problem of burnout and exhaustion that you have to face all the time, and I'm dealing with that. But again, I mean, in all things in life, too much is better. There's been not enough. If you've ever been broke or you lost your home or anything like that, had a couple of hard years, and you know that it's always better to have too much. So I'm very grateful for it.
If you had a choice of reading a novel written in a Waffle House or an Applebee's, which one would you pick?
Oh, don't be bashing Applebee's. I've written some really great haikus at the Applebee's. I see. If I want to write haiku, that's what I go to Applebee's, because they have it.
I'm throwing up board Applebee's though.
Applebee's has a 23-ounce, 22-ounce Sam Adams special, 2 for $7. That's an expensive beer.
Is that a bar napkin haiku?
23 times 2
like literally
is 46 ounces of beer for $7. It's steps removed from Jackass at that point, I'm a little old to be eating intestines and setting my nuts on fire and whatever else you're supposed to do. I really would at some point like to be taken seriously. I mean, no offense to the recent interviews that I've done to those. I mean, those people all did great jobs, but I really would rather not answer questions about Lydia Lunch, for example. I respect Lydia, but enough. I mean, come on, man. It's fucking 12 years ago. Move on, So here I'm thinking, well, I looked into you told me the rent was cheap and stuff. Once I was down here, I just fucking completely fell madly in love with it, I had gotten invitations from Jim over the years to come out and live with him. I mean, he was always looking to me, I think, to pay his rent for him, because he knows I'll work and he won't work. And which is exactly why I not only why I avoid his phone calls. I mean, I'm certainly not going to entertain the idea of going to live with him under any circumstance. So, but here it was in Baltimore, and I'm being interrogated by the cops for a stabbing that took place. That's how Intra-Coastal opens. I didn't really have much of a choice. Florida did sound good. Jim, however, did not sound so good to me, but I thought that my plan would be I'd go down there, and he's living off of 2 other guys, basically. I'm thinking, well, I'll pay a little bit of rent, to sort of validate my, my living there, and I'll get a job quickly. I save, as much money as I can, as quickly as I can, and just get the fuck out and get a place. I mean, it's always been my dream all my life. To live by the ocean, to live on the ocean, and I'm just, that's one of the many things I've been bitching about for about 20 years. Is I can't get to the ocean, Baltimore, fuck Baltimore, I hate Detroit. Here's the ocean. I came down here, and I guess it was 1992, over 20 years ago, to chase after a little punk girl. I had green hair, and I grew up in a farm town, and I never met a punk girl before, and that sounded, very exciting to me. And I'd never been laid. I mean, never even kissed a girl. I'm fucking 17 years old. It was about fucking time, Actually, I think I was 16. Anyway, I take a bus down here, and it was raining the whole time. And all I cared about, once I was down here, and I realized that that my unpleasant aura was going to be a problem in my in my interest of getting laid. So the next thing on the list, I'm like, well, if I'm not going to get laid, at least I can see the ocean. The whole time I was here, stuck in a motel in suburban Florida, I never got laid. I never even got to see the ocean. So it was something that I needed some closure on that, big time. So I got down here. First thing I do once I found a job, I start going out to the beach. If I have half the afternoon off, half the afternoon, take a bus out to the beach. It's a half-hour ride. My dream was to finish the book, publish the book, and be able to quit my job, live off my writing, and be on the ocean, which I did manage to do for a period of about 8 or 9 months, and I include the other 3 months where I didn't live on the beach but was still out here every day. So yeah, basically I got like a solid year on the beach. Makes for a great memoir. Unfortunately, there was a lot of death and a lot of trouble during that time. So you know, I mean, those people are, like I've said a million times, those people have all either died or been forced off the beach.
I love it. I love that.
It's right there.
Yeah.
We need that because.
Do this or what?
Yep.
It's really good having a water.
Hey.
A killer.
A killer? A killer?
A killer.
Oh, a killer. Well, we know that. You know, that's Intra-Coastal. That's middle of Florida.
Who's living here now?
I have no idea. The old neighborhood. I tried to get an apartment over there, and I told them I was running from Suzanne currently. They said, well, we don't take former tenants of Suzanne Ferry here. You know, take a few minutes, bring your typewriter, get some work done while your yolk is congealing. Once it congeals and it dries a little bit, you can scrape it up with your fork and you can suck it off.
Are you trying to tell me that as the yolk of the egg congeals, so does the spine of your story?
No. No. I mean, yeah, it's a romantic idea.
I was really shooting. Did I overshoot that? I was really trying for something there.
You can form, look, if you're a writer and you want to write at Waffle House, first of all, I don't know about other locations, it's different everywhere you go because they do have individual managers as well. But if you go late at night on the beach, people tend to be very tolerant of the typewriter. So you can come in here with a typewriter, get your work done. Some of them have jukeboxes actually. You can play music if you want to.
Right, yeah.
And you'll form relationships between the egg yolk if you want to, you were interested in that. You were asking about the egg yolk, you know, the coffee, hash browns. It all ties in various, you know, direct and indirect ways to the way that the words get applied to the paper here.
Exactly.
From your little portable royal or whatever you have.
But see, here's the thing.
Don't get a laptop. Anybody can get a laptop. This is stylish. Makes a statement. You know, people call you pretentious. You know what? If you're talented, they can call you whatever the fuck they want. You know, because
We should set up some kind of
you're
question.
talent. You earned your sovereignty. Go on. There was another laboratory we were ordering from in England, and there was another one. I think it was in somewhere in the Czech Republic. But anyway. You know, we would get this stuff in it. It was called tiger's blood, I think was the most effective one. Oh, yeah. I mean, I probably cut that out of my life just a couple minutes shy of that happening to me. So, you know, I don't really do drugs anymore. I'm not gonna say I don't do drugs at all. I don't want to give anybody the idea that I'm, you know, still dabbling in anything. I drink maybe a little more than I should have. The last couple of weeks I've had 2 drinking days out of the last 14 days, and that's been good for me. The older I get, the less I'm drinking. I have no interest in stimulants, absolutely no interest at all. I've suffered enough, and I don't really smoke weed. It makes me paranoid, you know, I've gotten rid of processed meat. There's no processed meat in my diet. Anything with sodium nitrate, anything with high fructose. I mean, I avoid all the things I'm supposed to avoid. I eat a lot of fresh fruit, a lot of raw garlic. I stink. It's great. I'm healthy, you know. Interviewing people, back when I was in the whole interview stage of my life was in full swing, and if I ever paused to go through my notes and stuff, I mean, the person would get a little uncomfortable or maybe irritated, but I didn't really care because I knew that my being, you know, in touch with my notes or going back and taking the time, no matter how awkward it might have been, taking an extra minute to, you know, go to the next part of the conversation, well, that made for a better interview. So, you know, it's that one thing I learned is it's better to be kind of shameless about the way you perform an interview, because it's you know, you're not going to remember their discomfort as much as you're going to remember the finished product and what goes on the table at the end of the session, at the end of the week when you've typed it out or whatever, however you're going to release it. That's what matters, you know. So, you know, if you, I mean, look, anything short of pulling out your unit and jacking off right there in the office of the person, you know, that's good. If you need to scratch your dick, if you got an itch somewhere down there and you know, it's gonna sway you. It's gonna, you know, put you off course. Scratch your dick, man. You know, you're there to ask some good questions, get some smart fucking answers, man. Be a man and do your job right. So I'm watching you and I'm evaluating you. You're interviewing the interviewer right now. So don't be nervous. Everything's fine. Yeah, I got a cell phone that I talk into that hasn't worked in 2 years. I make myself look very busy and very agitated so no one will bother me. Something stinks in here. You get it?
Yeah, it smells like body odor.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Fuck. To air the place out or whatever. What the fuck is that?
It smells like armpit.
Oh, that's me, actually. It's good smell of me.
Oops.
It is a pull-up in the vernacular.
But yeah, that's how it works. They give a fuck about this stuff, you know. They have a nude bowling alley going on. So they don't have time for me. I'm changing the face of American literature, but they get a new bowling alley. So you know,
they'll come around eventually.
forget about me.
You won't care anymore.
They got a nude post-op vegan bowling alley that's opening up. So forget about me. No. And there's important shit happening in Tampa Bay. So what I'm doing is pork chops.
It smells good too. Nice.
You can't win the argument. So you turn it into a physical thing.
No, fuck it. If you're not taping, I'm not going to ask you anything interesting.
I think it's working again now.
What was the question? I stood up and then I got punched full frontal.
Oh, so it was self-defense. Oh, come on.
No, it was revenge.
Massachusetts rapist Willie Horton.
What?
An
What?
awkward moment
My belly.
during his speech
No, I
this
didn't say
week in
anything.
New York when Vice President Dan Quayle's
36,
faceplate
I'm allowed to have a
popped
belly.
up.
Yeah, you're sticking it out.
I'm allowed to
And
sit
they
in
had
front
to
of TV.
resolder a circuit board
You realize that you're sitting in a rocking chair, right? Watching TV, eating out of a giant bowl.
Secretary of State James
No,
Baker
just
was in
saying.
West Berlin this week and couldn't resist
He's-
taking
he's-
a look through the Berlin Wall.
He's
Here's what he
rocking
saw
on the
through
rocking
people.
chair and eating out of the giant bowl simultaneously.
Afterwards, he went backstage to meet one of the performers.
Well, oh, there he goes. It's important that you use your memories and use your experience to remember that it wasn't always that way. You write books about that. You know? Being sophisticated is something that you earn. It's not something that you learn. It's something that you earn. You know, you don't learn sophistication. All you learn is a way to talk in a sophisticated manner or to present yourself as sophisticated. And that's a great lie. It's all effective.
Let me ask one more question. And we need a square on his face like a close-up. So, why write Intra-Coastal?
Some of those people died. Some of my friends died. You know, so there's that, and there's also the fact that they ruined it. You know, there'll be condos built up there in a year or two. And it was the best summer of my entire life. I learned more about being a man, more about being a social problem, more about being a drug addict, and about being a cat lover, more about being an apartment dweller, more about being a writer, and I learned about the beach. For the first time, I actually enjoyed my street and my apartment and my life. You know, I even liked my landlady for a little while. It was the first time in my life that I was happy. So
would you say one of the worst times in your life is actually one of the best?
Yeah.
Productively.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons for that. You know, I mean, it wouldn't have been the best. Well, okay, you know what? It always would have been the best, no matter the circumstance, because it was on the beach, and that had always been my dream to live on the beach. So that in itself, by default, makes it the best year. But on top of that, I've been having, you know, women stealing my freedom and my time and my life for 3 or 4 years, any way that they could. So I was finally free of women. You know, I didn't have a woman in my life at all. I wasn't dependent on anybody.
Daughter. She's a hot property, and if there's one thing I know, it's the business of hot properties. My bedroom is a tip-top shape.
But yeah, I'll sit here. I mix up some water into the jars and throw it around, and usually after a couple hours I have 15 or so done at one stage or another, and they go up on the line, and maybe I can get a little bit of writing done. That's all. I would see as Intra-Coastal as a 6-month project, and I am morbidly in love with cats. Yeah. When I was a kid and I was doing a Greyhound bus thing, there wasn't anybody else that was really giving a fuck about Jack Kerouac, at least not where I was from. So for me, in the early 90s, it was brand new to do that, to hitchhike. And back then, in the early 90s, people would still pick you up as a hitchhiker. They won't do it now. And
Man, I'm wanted by the FBI. I don't know. Everybody's watching and friends talk. Anyone that is getting ready to move, someone else is already taking it over before you even know it. Yeah.
Right. That's a pricey place to hire too.
yeah, it's nice. I mean,
is this a tour? Are we doing a tour of what?
Tour?
There's got to be some kind of tour, like Treasure Island, St. Pete Beach, up and down the sands, you know.
Well, I can show you the sites.
That'd be a good shot. Right?
So you got my eye point. He was ignoring me, but you got it.
I do not think that a man should devote his time to morbid self-attention. So, maybe that was like a big douche or an enema, you know, to get all that morbid self-attention out of me. But it didn't work apparently. So, but no, here I was free for the first time, and I knew that whatever I had to do, whether if I had to ride 15 miles to work every day, do a job I hated, or fucking up mentally or physically, I didn't care. I did it without a complaint. I had all of this amazing energy built up to do the job, you know, right, to get the job done no matter what it was, because I was going to have my freedom finally. I've been living without, you know, without myself. I've been denied my own rights for too many years, and I was going to get them back, and I did. So, but there's the other side of it, which is all about, you know, the crew, and that was an incredibly. It wasn't boring, you know. I was pulling my hair out. I wanted to kill every one of them, you know, knocking on my door every 5 minutes, getting me into trouble. They're out there. I care about them. They're killing each other. So all of that. I mean, it was a lot of stuff to deal with emotionally. It just, to me, I don't know, maybe not for somebody else, but for me, it's the best story in the world. It's the best story I could ever imagine being lucky enough to write. Yeah.
I like that. You should probably say that again. It's the best story in the world. Be lucky enough.
It's the best story I could ever imagine being lucky enough to write. It's a novel of my life. Intra-Coastal.